Georgia 2003. Ukraine 2004. Kyrgyzstan 2005. And Egypt 2011. Think these are all completely different revolts? Well, think again. And not only because a raised fist was one of their symbols.
If you look more closely, you look at the so-called people who are leading this are being coached, and they're being coached by U.S. intelligence services, the same way the Orange Revolution was in Ukraine, or the Rose Revolution with Saakashvili in Georgia.
A string of revolutions, some bloodless, some not, rocked the post-Soviet space at the beginning of the 21st century. There were a number of common factors. An uprising against the regime rooted in a popular dissatisfaction with standards of living. Hence the collective name, colored revolutions. Amazingly, their outcomes have been quite similar too. 6 years ago, Kiev's Independence Square was the birthplace of the Orange Revolution. It promised a new dawn and major changes for the country. But ultimately, all aspirations came to nothing. Lawyer Grigory Sitenko is one of those disenchanted with the outcome of the Orange makeover. He says the bright promises of the revolution's leaders have in reality pushed the country into an abyss.
Poverty and corruption increased. The country became divided on ideological issues. Nothing changed to the better. It changed only to the worse. Viktor Yushchenko, on the next elections, revolutionary hero, received only 5% of the vote, the lowest percentage for acting president in the world.
It was a similar story in Georgia, where the heady optimism of the Rose Revolution soon gave way to disappointment and eventually to mass protests. Their anger with President Saakashvili was met with a response that was all too familiar, as gas grenades and water cannons were used to quell the unrest. And in Kyrgyzstan, the revolution of 2005 also quickly turned sour. Last year saw yet another popular revolt. But those false dawns and bitter lessons are far from the minds of those clamoring for change in North Africa.
Danger emerges when the power overturning the government, which they thought illegal and autocratic, like in the case of Tunisia and Egypt, does not have a political platform and a government apt to put things in order in the country. The danger lies in the personality of those who would desire to use the revolutions which happened in the Arab world. We have to take care that the far right or any other forces with an imperialistic mood will not take advantage of the situation. If those are really people's movements, they should not have let anyone interfere with their affairs.
Experts agree that it may take some time before the world will see whether the revolts in Tunisia and Egypt will change things for the better in these countries. Just as they have a common opinion that if these uprisings flop, Europe will be the first to suffer from waves of immigrants. Alexei Roshevsky, RT.